On today's episode of Weed Wednesdays, we'll be taking a look at something that I think will be prevalent this season, common ragweed. More specifically, the rise of glyphosate resistance in common ragweed. Seems to be becoming more and more prevalent across southern Manitoba each season. I'm finding more and more every year. Commonly finding it on the river lots, near ditches, or any sort of water infrastructure. It emerges early and frequently and can lead to serious yield losses in the Roundup ready crops. Always finding it in the Extend beans where only the Roundup was applied. Before we talk about any products, just a quick reminder that we are independent crop consultants and we're not associated with the sale of any inputs. If I mention a product, that doesn't mean I'm endorsing that product. There's usually a generic version available or different companies offer it. Have to consider things like level of active ingredient, formulation, adjuvants, cost, rewards programs, all that stuff. Make your own decision. Common ragweed has developed traditional glyphosate resistance, but there's also another mechanism at play that we sometimes see here too. The stems of ragweeds can be infested with stem-boring insects, damaging vascular tissue and limiting the translocation of glyphosate. This can sometimes result in regrowth from the lower nodes since the glyphosate can't translocate far enough downwards. Greenhouse studies have shown plants surviving over 1,800 grams acid equivalent of glyphosate. If that number doesn't mean anything to you, that's about 5 times the recommended label rate of most products. The phenoxycarboxylate group 4 herbicides are still fairly strong on common ragweed. These would be MCPA and 2,4-D used in cereals. With 2,4-D, formulation matters, and the ester is the most effective at controlling common ragweed. As seen in this graph here from Peter Sikkema, the ester formulation provided about 13% better control of common ragweed and nearly 20% better control of lamb's quarters. That's a huge difference in control and ultimately return on investment simply from choosing a different formulation. Clopyrrolid is also fairly effective, however it can be weak on other common weeds like buckwheat, lamb's quarters, and pigweeds. That being said, we don't really have one silver bullet or one ideal product. It kind of depends on the spectrum of and intensity of the other weeds in the field too. Getting good ragweed control doesn't do us much good if we've got lamb's quarters and pigweed problems as well. So that's why our herbicide recommendations come on a case-by-case basis. A Group 6 active, tank mixed with a Group 27, will provide excellent control, and here's a good reason why. I'll give you a simplified explanation of the chemistry of why these products work so well together. The Group 6s bind in the place of plastoquinone in the electron transport chain, which in turn generates reactive oxygen species like oxygen and hydroxyl groups. The Group 27s make it easier for the Group 6s to bind to their target site by reducing that plastoquinone production. The 27s also simultaneously reduce the production of other antioxidants which mitigate the cellular damage from those reactive oxygen species generated by the Group 6. So just a quick summary, the Group 27 makes it easier for the Group 6 to bind to its target site while simultaneously inhibiting that intrinsic antioxidant defense system. This is why we usually see a 1 + 1 = 3 scenario when these products are applied together. If you like this sort of breakdown, let us know, and stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season. Not too bad.